March to Freedom, Day 4. What is up, my dudes? Welcome back to Dudes Ascend, where we talk about how to elevate ourselves as men. My name is Hamilton, and here we are on Day 4 of our March to Freedom from Porn, Quitting Porn Challenge. We're quitting porn for good. Let's do it together, my dudes. I am up early once again. I've got a long day of Zoom meetings ahead of me with my Infinite Possibilities certification course that I'm doing with Mike Dooley. You might have seen him on The Secret, and he's the guy that does the letters from the universe. And yesterday's course was awesome. I'm feeling really energized and inspired, and things are rolling on our 30-day challenge. It's been pretty smooth sailing for me so far. Hopefully you guys are rocking it and doing awesome and following along with all the tips that I've been suggesting. And today I want to talk about how to deal with urges, because if the first few days have been easy, I can say from experience of trying these challenges many times before that it can be expected for like day 7 to day 10 to 11 to be some of the toughest days of urges and withdrawal. And so before we get to that point, I want to give you guys some really good tips on how to deal with strong urges. Before I get into those 3 tips, I want to make sure you guys like and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button right now. It really helps this channel grow. The more subscribers I get, the more eyes I get to get in front of, and the more people I can hopefully help. I think that this pornography addiction, is a massive elephant in the room that so many people are dealing with, not even just guys. There's a lot of women who have this problem, and I want to help as many people as possible because it's having so many effects on individuals and really like society as a whole. And so the more eyes I can get in front of, the more people I can help. And hitting that subscribe button, watching this video all the way through to make sure you get all 3 tips on how to deal with urges is really going to help this channel grow. Like I said, we're on day 4 right now. Hopefully the first few days have been rolling pretty smoothly. And what I want to sort of warn you guys about, give you a little bit of a fair warning, not to scare you or not to jinx anything, but just to let you know that from my experience, as we start getting into like day 7, day 8, 9, 10, those are the days that you can typically expect to be some of the hardest days that you'll face in this 30-day challenge. And I want to give you guys some really great tools today for how to deal with really strong urges when they come up. Okay, these are tips that I've gotten from therapists, 12-step groups, or just my own experience, okay? And I want to equip you with those tools and techniques before we get to the hard part, so that you're not like freaking out, scrambling, and then trying to retroactively deal with it like on the fly, right? I want to have you prepared. If you stay prepared, you don't have to get prepared, as my old first sergeant used to say in military high school. Okay, let's get into it. I'm feeling a little sleepy right now. I'm getting this video done early in the morning so that I can have my day open for my full day of Zoom meetings for this conference. And I want to talk about first the value of a good nap, okay? A nap is like a reset button for your brain, for your vibration, and it's really invaluable on some of these days where you might just wake up feeling like shit, feeling what urges and withdrawal symptoms look and feel like: really high irritability, really high anxiety, kind of racing mind sometimes, or feeling very tense, and maybe sometimes just like angry and tired. And when you find yourself feeling in the zone and you feel like you just can't shake it, it's really powerful sometimes to just literally like just take a nap. Like, be like, you can't always be like the most productive person, right? Like there's a reason why people go to rehab when they're dealing with detoxing from a serious addiction. It's because like sometimes trying to function in a modern day very busy society is very difficult to do while you're in the throes of detoxing. And so people go away, they get away and they take everything off their plate to go through this process. But if you're doing it at home and you're not in rehab, um, remind yourself of the value of just taking a nap. What it does, it really is like a reset button where you can change the momentum of all these thoughts. If you're like getting down a negative spiral of thoughts and anxiety, just laying down, taking a good strong nap, you will see the value sometimes where like you wake up and you just feel better, right? It's like hitting the reset button and kind of starting over. Very, 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 very good tip. Tip number 2 for how to deal with urges when they come up is do nothing. Just do nothing. And what do I mean by that? Do nothing, right? I can't sit around doing nothing. What I mean is specifically when these strong urges come up, and if you've been dealing with this addiction, you know that sometimes these urges hit you like a tidal wave and you don't see them coming sometimes, and you don't know when they're going to hit the strongest, and it can really feel like an uncontrollable, like your just whole body and being is taken by this like tidal wave urge that feels like a compulsion, a desire to go seek out the thing. And it's sometimes so strong that you feel like you can't resist it. But what I'm challenging you to do is when you feel those strong urges, set a timer, literally like set a timer for at least 20 minutes and just don't do anything. Just sit. Don't even read a book. Don't even try to meditate or chant or do anything like that. Just sit quietly and watch your thoughts. Watch the urge. Pay attention to what's going on in your body. Are you feeling an increased heartbeat? Is your breath increasing? Are you breathing harder? Are you feeling tension in your body? Where exactly in your body are you feeling tension? Is it down in the nether regions, or are you feeling it in your shoulders and your neck? Pay attention to those things and just watch your thoughts, right? And you can even trick your brain sometimes, where this is another thing that I've done in this practice, where I would set that timer and sit there and do nothing for 20 minutes and just kind of tell myself, well, if I still feel like doing it when the timer goes off, maybe I will. But first I'm going to sit here for 20 minutes. And that can kind of like trick your brain and relax your brain a little bit too, because it's like, okay, I'll get the cookie when this boring 20 minutes is done. And sometimes that tension will release a bit if you like sort of lie to your brain and be like, yeah, we'll do it just later. I'm like, okay. And it'll stop trying to like convince you so hard. But the reason why this technique works is they found in like cognitive science and brain science that the brain literally gets tired and bored of trying to convince you to do something after about a 20 to 30 to 40 minute period. So you might even want to set this timer for like 30 or 40 minutes, but after a certain amount of time, it'll try really, really hard to convince you to do something, but it gets kind of worn out. Like it will basically give up on trying to convince you to do something if you wait it out long enough, and that tidal wave will recede, and the waters of your emotional state will come back to a more regulated position. So sometimes just waiting it out and doing nothing is really, really powerful, especially in times where, like, if you can insert this technique into the time of day when you know that you act out with porn the most, whether that's when you wake up in the morning. Set that timer for 20-30 minutes if you're used to waking up and starting your day with this habit, or if it's like when you come home from work and maybe you're alone in the house for a few hours. When you come home from work, you know nobody's gonna be there, so that's your usual time. As soon as you get home, set that timer and just do nothing for the first 30 minutes when you get home, and then see if you still feel like doing it afterwards. A lot of times that urge will just go away, and it'll sort of tucker itself out, and you won't even feel like it anymore afterwards. And lastly is a little technique that I got from a friend in 12 steps of SAA, Sex Addicts Anonymous, which a lot of people in there are dealing with porn addiction. And this was a friend who talked about, his therapist would say to turn the page, learn to just turn the page. And what that means is, like, in our mind's eye, when thoughts are coming in, like sometimes these sexual imagery, whether that's old videos that we've seen, old clips that were like some of your favorites to go to watch and, you know, get yourself excited and stuff. These images will come up as flashes, right? Any kind of sexual thoughts. And if you think of your mind and your thoughts as like a coloring book, right? Like, the thoughts are always coming in, so we're like turning the page with each new thought. And when a sexual thought comes up, some kind of sexual fantasy or a memory of a video, we can choose to either like stick with that thought and start to color it in, right? By giving it more attention, more focus, be like really playing with that fantasy image, or we can just turn the page. Don't color it in. Just see it. Yeah. And then be like, okay, on to the next thought. The key is don't color in those pages. When a memory or some kind of sexual image comes up into your mind, don't color it in, okay? A lot of times these battles of urges and things are won or lost in the first like 3 seconds that the thought comes to you. If you can just instantly start building that habit and the muscle of just turning the page in that first 3 seconds that it hits you, you can really keep yourself from ever getting too excited, or the ball of momentum getting rolling too much to where it's hard to turn back. Because addiction works that way, where, like, you know, sometimes we think, oh, well, I'll just take a little peek, right? But it's tricky, because the reality is a little bit is too much, and too much is never enough. So we've got to just turn the page. The only way to get free from this is to not do it at all. If you take little peeks, even sometimes letting your mind's eye play with stuff too much, it just makes you want more and more and more, and there's no satisfaction to that craving. There's no little amount that's gonna keep you satisfied. You're always gonna want more if you engage in it at all. So we gotta learn how to just turn the page and keep it moving. Great, guys. So those are my 3 tips for day 4 on how to deal with urges. Sometimes you just gotta take a nap. Sometimes when the urge comes strong, set that timer and just do nothing. Wait it out. And then third is learn to turn the page in your brain and don't color those images in. Keep it moving. I hope that these 3 tools prove very helpful and effective in the next coming days as we start moving into maybe the challenging part. And again, I'm not trying to jinx it. I'm just trying to get you guys prepared, because if you stay prepared, you don't have to get prepared. If you are finding these videos helpful, again, like and subscribe. I want to help as many people as possible, and that really does help the channel grow. And comment below if you have any really effective techniques for dealing with urges that you've picked up over this process. Maybe you've tried quitting a couple times and failed. That's a normal part of recovery. Most people do not have success their first few attempts at trying. It often takes quite a few attempts. So if you've learned anything on how to deal with urges effectively, comment below and let's share the knowledge, let's share the wisdom. Remember, we're doing this together. A community driven effort is always going to be more effective and powerful than trying to do it alone. So love you guys, sending you much strength. Let's keep on going on our march to freedom, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on day 5. Peace.